Okay, so we're looking at rational functions. Now, state the domain of the rational function. Here we are looking at the denominators because remember we cannot divide by 0. Okay, so if I look at this, what makes the denominator 0? Looks like a 12. Okay, so what we're saying is x cannot be 12. Okay, so in the actual domain would be negative infinity to 12 and then 12 to infinity, okay? And that's pretty much it. I mean, if you look at, say, questions 2 and 3, all you're going to have to do is say, well, for this one, you're going to have to factor the denominator, okay? So x squared minus 1 will factor into x plus 1, x minus 1, which means x cannot be negative 1, because that'll make it 0, and x cannot be positive 1, okay? And again, you can write that as interval notation. But what we're actually trying to get the meaning behind state the domain of rational functions is, it's going to mean something when you actually have to come to graph it, and it's this, the vertical asymptote. Okay, so if I look at, say, question 5, which is very similar to this question 1 here, can you see that x cannot be negative 8? Okay, because again, if I look at the denominator, negative 8 will make it 0. Now, what that means is on a piece of graph paper, I would actually do a dotted vertical line at x equals negative 8. Okay, so negative 8. And that will be my vertical asymptote. In other words, whatever I graph cannot touch that dotted line. Okay, so things like if I have to graph things, then of course I get closer to it but won't touch. Maybe if I'm over here, okay, we get closer, it won't touch. Okay, these are vertical asymptotes. And again, if you have to factor something, okay, look at this, the denominator will factor into x plus 5, x minus 5, in other words, x cannot be negative 5, okay, and x cannot be positive 5. So again, on a piece of graph paper, I would do at x equals 5 and at x equals negative 5. I would put those dotted lines on, okay? Those are the vertical asymptotes. Now, horizontal asymptotes, that's just something that you have to kind of recognize, and it's this. If the order of the denominator, okay, is bigger, in other words, this is x squared, okay, this is an x squared on the bottom, and it's an x on the top, okay, so can you see, with looking at the order is bigger on the bottom. It is always, the horizontal asymptote is always y equals 0, okay, that's a 0. In other words, it would be the x-axis, because that's y equals 0, okay, so things like, you know, you might get like this, okay, approaching this horizontal asymptote but not touching it, okay, there you go. So that's the rule for when it's, let's just say, bigger on the bottom, okay, like that, an x over an x squared. Now how about when they're the same? Can you see this is an x squared over an x squared, but it's a 5x squared over a 1x squared, and what you do is you just look at the leading coefficients. 5 over 1 is 5, okay, so again, if I had to draw that, it'd be a horizontal at y equals 5, okay, that's fine. And again, that's just, that would be 1, wouldn't it, okay, that is just 8 divided by 8, so y equals 1 would be the horizontal asymptote, again, when the leading terms have the same order, okay, x squared over x squared. Now, when it is bigger on top, we're not going to deal with that. We're not going to deal with when it is bigger on top, okay, because that turns out to be a slant asymptote, which we're not going to kind of deal with in this particular chapter, okay.